Box 17. And now your host, Dr. James Haney.
Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is a profile of Coach ETemple, and we're fortunate to have with us, of course, Coach ETemple. And Coach Temple, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you, Dr. Haney.
Coach Temple, you've been on our show on one occasion before, and that was quite a while ago, and we had an opportunity at that time to find out something about you. But for those of our audience who might not know anything about the famed Coach ETemple of Tennessee State University, let's talk about your background and your education, the things that led you to Tennessee State University initially.
Well, I guess it's been a long time ago. I arrived at Tennessee State University in 1946. Tom Harris, who was then track coach, was coming to Nashville to be track coach and assistant football coach at Tennessee State University. And that's when Dr. W.S. Davis was here. And I came here on a track scholarship. And at that time, Tennessee State didn't have what you call a complete track. We had what we call a three-quarter track. Because the dump was down there where the scoreboard is now, where the Coca-Cola sign is and so forth. That's where the track ended. In other words, we only had three-quarters of a track. But Tom Harris was brought to Tennessee State. Of course, at that time, it was A&I State, State College. He was brought to establish a men's track team and also to start a women's track team. So I went to school here at Tennessee State University from 1946 to 1950. And then the man who brought me here, Tom Harris, left to go to Virginia Union as athletic director and football coach and track coach there. So Dr. Davis, who was president at that time, asked Coach Harris who would he recommend to take over the women's track team. At that time, I just happened to graduate at that time, and I was around Nashville here waiting, really, on an opening. I was really looking for a football coaching job or a basketball coaching job. I got my BS, my Bachelor of Science in Physical Education, and I went on and got my Master's in Sociology. But Tom Harris told Dr. Davis that he thought that ETemple would be the person to carry on with the program and to work with the women's track team. Well, of course, at that time, I had no idea about working with the women's track team. Dr. Davis called me over to his office in 1950 and asked me would I work with the track team, and told me that Coach Tom Harris recommended that I work with it. And he also said that he was going to let me work in the post office and also go to school and work on my master's. So in 1950, for $150 a month, I coached the women's track team, ran the university post office, and went to graduate school.
Good. Coach,
so that was my beginning.
Now, are you a Tennessean coach? I mean...
No, I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'm from the hometown of Coach Harris's wife, and that's where he got in contact with me. I lived right across the street from Coach Harris's wife in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
And so you were born in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Right. Went to school in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
What are some of your earlier experiences in growing up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania?
Well, now, I was active. I played in the band in junior high school. I played football. After I got to playing in the band one year, then I went on out for football. Of course, what my parents didn't know when I went out for football, because they thought I was still playing in the band. But they done spent all that money on music for me, and they wasn't about to throw it down the drain. But anyway, I went out for football. I played football. I made the varsity there. I played basketball, and I ran track. And then when I went on to high school, I dropped music at that time, and I just kept in sports. And that's where Coach Tom Harris ran into me. I ran in the Penn Relays. We ran in the Penn Relays in Philadelphia. I ran on the mile relay. I was a sprinter. I ran the 100, 200. Also ran at Penn State when we had our state high school championships. So I was active in sports.
Coach, when you think about your early beginning, especially coaching the female track team, what were some of the earlier attitudes in reference to that? That was kind of unusual in that day and time to have a female track team, was it not?
Well, we really didn't have no scholarships. When I first started out, we had what we call work aid. Work aid, everybody worked 2 hours a day in some type of work on the campus. And when I started, we only had 3 young ladies, and one of them was Jean Patton. Jean Patton, a Nashville young lady who spent 2 years with Coach Tom Harris and spent 2 years with me. And she was an outstanding athlete. She made the Pan American Games in 1951 and won first place in the Pan American Games. She ran in, I think in Chile. She ran in Chile, South America, where the Pan American Games was held, and she won first place in the 100 meters. But women's track at that time had a taboo on it about that if you did anything strenuous, you wasn't going to be able to have children, and if you worked hard, that means if you sweated in anything, I mean, it wasn't ladylike. So we had a lot of obstacles to really try to overcome. But I can say this with all sincerity, that Dr. Davis was the backbone behind our program. Dr. Davis believed, and of course, at that time, we didn't have no Title IX like we have now and all the various other things. It was just a person that, out of the good of their heart, felt that women should have an opportunity. And Dr. Davis gave us an opportunity. Now, he had a lot of people who didn't want us to have an opportunity. You know, I mean, the same obstacles that they're fighting with today, we had to fight it 3 times more during that time, because football, basketball, we only had, at that time, one other women's sport. That was basketball, women's basketball, and we had women's track. So, so we had a long, hard road. I guess what the lady that really got us started was a young lady from Bayside, New York, named May Fags. May Fags Starr now, because her name's Starr, she's married and everything, but May Fags came from Bayside, New York. And we was just lucky. May Fags wrote to Tuskegee and wrote to Tennessee State. And she had just competed in the 48 Olympics and the 52 Olympics. And she won a gold medal in the 52 Olympics. And she won.
Before she came to Tennessee State.
Right, right. Before